Hey, my name is Buddhism Trail, and this is your yearly horoscope and astrology forecast for the Zodiac sign of Aquarius. For the entire year of 2025, my horoscopes are designed primarily for those who have either their sun sign in Aquarius or especially their rising sign in Aquarius. I'm going to give you a big picture overview of the major transits and themes for you over the next 12 months. So let's dive right in. Here's the planetary movements calendar that outlines where the planets will begin at the start of the year and how far they'll move through the zodiac by the end of 2025. It highlights clusters of planets in different sectors of your chart and the major transits I'll discuss throughout this video. I've also included a slide listing key dates, which you can refer back to later for more specifics. Let's start with the first major transit. We open the year with Mars retrograde in your 7th house of relationships and 6th house of work and health. Mars began its retrograde motion in December 2024, doing a U-turn in your 7th house of relationships. As we move into early 2025, Mars will shift back into your 6th house of work and health, especially for those of you with day charts. This could be a particularly challenging period, stirring up tension and potential conflicts in relationships, whether romantic, business partnerships, or other close one-on-one connections. You may encounter significant disagreements or arguments that could escalate if not managed carefully. In some cases, this transit can even indicate the severing of certain relationships. However, while this may sound challenging, sometimes such endings are necessary for growth and clarity. During this time, I encourage you to practice caution when dealing with conflicts in relationships. Small disagreements can quickly snowball into larger issues if left unchecked. As Mars retrogrades into your 6th house, conflicts could also surface at work, particularly with colleagues, employees, or managerial dynamics. If you're in a position of authority, there might be tensions to resolve with those under your guidance. Health is another key focus during this transit. The first 4 months of 2025, while Mars moves through Cancer, are particularly important for being mindful of your well-being. This is a time to avoid impulsive decisions that might jeopardize your health. Be cautious and intentional with your habits, as Mars can sometimes amplify energy and risk-taking tendencies. Additionally, because Mars retrogrades from the 7th house relationships into the 6th house work and health, there may be connections between these areas of life. For instance, relationship challenges could impact your health or spill over into your work environment. Pay attention to how these themes intersect in your life, particularly during the first half of the year. The good news is that as we move into June and beyond, Jupiter will enter Cancer and your 6th house of work and health, bringing a wave of relief and optimism. Jupiter's presence in this sector often improves work dynamics, brings health breakthroughs, and resolves earlier challenges. If Mars stirred up dust in the first part of the year, Jupiter will sweep it away and leave things better than before in the second half of the year. Jupiter's transit will create a period of hope, healing, and growth. If you've been dealing with health issues, this could be the time when you find solutions or treatments that work for you. Similarly, in your work life, opportunities may arise that bring stability, success, and renewed optimism. Whether it's a new job, improved workplace conditions, or recognition for your efforts, Jupiter's influence is incredibly positive. This energy will continue into the first half of 2026, giving you plenty of time to build on these successes. So, while the first half of 2025 may bring challenges, the second half looks bright, promising opportunities for healing, growth, and improvement in the areas of work, health, and relationships. Stay grounded, mindful, and open to the lessons the planets bring. I'm Buddhism Trail, and I hope this forecast helps guide you on your journey through the year ahead. Let's shift focus now to the next major highlight of 2025, a series of transits activating your 3rd house. This area of your chart deals with communication, siblings, extended family, neighbours, your local community, and even short-distance travel. It's fascinating how this particular house, which often operates quietly in the background, becomes such a central theme for you this year. It feels as though the universe is pushing you to re-examine and redefine the way you connect, communicate, and relate to the immediate world around you. The final Aries eclipse, spring beginnings and endings. The first major moment arrives in March and April, with the final eclipse in Aries lighting up your third house. This marks the culmination of a cycle that began back in late 2023, signifying a period of significant beginnings and endings. If you look back over the past 12 months, there's likely been a transformation in how you express yourself, how you communicate, or even how you engage with close relationships like siblings or neighbours. For some of you, this might have been about stepping up to use your voice more effectively, maybe through writing, speaking, or teaching. You might have been forced to confront outdated patterns of communication, shedding old ways of thinking in order to express yourself more authentically. The final Aries eclipse feels like a moment of clarity, a time when all those changes crystallize and you see the bigger picture of what you've learned about your voice and your connections. Saturn and Neptune. Entering Aries, challenges and clarity. What makes this year even more unique is that Saturn and Neptune will move into Aries and your third house, setting the tone for the middle part of 2025 and beyond. Saturn's entrance into this house signals a period of restructuring, an invitation, or sometimes a demand, to get serious about third house topics. Communication won't just be a casual activity anymore. It will require discipline, patience, and focus. If you've been struggling to get your message across, this transit will challenge you to refine your approach. Saturn will push you to refine how you express yourself and to overcome challenges through consistency and hard work. At the same time, Saturn might introduce some distance or tension in relationships with siblings, extended family, or even neighbours. This doesn't have to be a negative thing. Sometimes relationships go through natural phases of distance or quiet reflection. However, if tensions arise, it's important to address them maturely and avoid letting small misunderstandings grow into larger rifts. Relationships with neighbours may feel trivial until they suddenly demand your attention. This year might teach you how important these overlooked connections can be in shaping your day-to-day life. But while Saturn brings structure and challenges, Neptune's entrance into your third house adds an interesting layer of energy. Neptune is like a fog rolling in. It brings mystery, idealism, and sometimes confusion. With Neptune here, communication becomes less about logic and precision and more about intuition, emotion, and subtlety. For writers, artists, or creative minds, this transit could be incredibly inspiring, opening up new ways to express yourself. However, Neptune's influence can also blur boundaries, making it harder to communicate clearly. Be mindful of misunderstandings and double-check details when sharing information. One thing I find fascinating about Saturn and Neptune is how they contrast and complement each other. Saturn wants structure and discipline, while Neptune brings softness and fluidity. Together, they're teaching you to balance clarity and creativity. If you lean too far into Neptune, communication might become foggy or impractical. If you focus only on Saturn, it might feel rigid or overly serious. The key this year is to harmonize these two energies, finding ways to communicate your truth with both purpose and heart. What does this mean for you personally? This combination of eclipses, Saturn and Neptune, creates a profound transformation in your third house. For some, it's about finding your voice, learning to communicate authentically and powerfully. For others, it's about deepening or redefining relationships with siblings, extended family, or your local community. Don't be surprised if seemingly small issues with neighbours or local networks become more prominent. These are lessons you're meant to work through. One thing to remember is that these are longer-term influences. While Saturn will transit your third house for about 3 years, Neptune's stay will stretch over the next decade. Think of this as a journey rather than a single event. You're building the foundations for clearer, more meaningful connections, even if it feels challenging at first. My advice this year: take extra care with how you express yourself. Be patient with miscommunications and approach relationships, especially with siblings or neighbors, with understanding and compassion. At the same time, don't shy away from the hard work Saturn asks of you. Whether it's starting that blog you've always dreamed of, taking a course to improve your communication skills, or resolving a long-standing family tension. This year is your opportunity to build lasting growth in this part of your life. The final Aries eclipse, combined with the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, feels like a call to action. Refine your voice, embrace clarity, and allow room for creativity. This may not be the easiest year in terms of communication, but it has the potential to be one of the most rewarding. With Neptune moving into your third house of communication, a fascinating dynamic begins to unfold. Neptune's energy is ethereal, dreamy, and sometimes elusive. It thrives in abstraction and ambiguity, which can cloud clarity when it comes to how you express yourself or engage with others. Paired with Saturn's stern influence in the same area, 2025 brings a balancing act between these opposing forces. Saturn will demand discipline, structure, and grounding, while Neptune encourages creativity, idealism, and perhaps even a little escapism. This push and pull energy is most potent in the summer, when these two planets form a near conjunction in your third house. On the one hand, you may feel drawn toward being overly pragmatic and factual in your communication style, so focused on hard realities that you risk sounding rigid, pessimistic, or overly critical. On the other hand, Neptune might pull you in the opposite direction, where you get lost in idealistic or abstract ideas that lack practical footing. For instance, this may show up as creative inspiration that feels powerful but difficult to articulate. You may feel called to pursue writing, speaking, or creative projects, but find the boundaries between fact and imagination a little blurred. Conversations with others could also take on a mysterious or ambiguous tone. Misunderstandings may arise if you're not careful. The key here is balance, grounding Neptune's vision and creativity in Saturn's practicality, while letting Saturn's discipline soften enough to accommodate Neptune's fluidity. This tension is not a problem to solve, but a lesson to learn, an opportunity to refine how you think and communicate, allowing both clarity and imagination to coexist. This period might also push you to reflect on how you engage with close relationships like siblings, neighbors, or members of your community. If relationships have become strained, Saturn may make you aware of the need for boundaries or maturity, while Neptune inspires forgiveness, compassion, and a renewed sense of connection. Venus retrograde, a bridge to the past. Amidst the turbulence of Saturn and Neptune, Venus retrograde enters the scene, beginning in the spring, in your third house. This transit adds yet another layer to the third house story, but it carries a softer, more reflective energy. Venus retrograde often acts like a bridge to the past, resurfacing relationships or connections that may have faded over time. In your third house, this is especially relevant to relationships with siblings, extended family, neighbors, or childhood friends. Perhaps an old friend or relative reaches out unexpectedly, or you find yourself revisiting places that carry deep emotional significance. Conversations from the past may resurface, offering you the opportunity to heal, reconcile, or gain closure. For those who've experienced distance in sibling relationships, this can be a time to rebuild those bonds with kindness and understanding. The retrograde may also inspire you to reflect on how you communicate love and affection, encouraging a deeper, more intentional approach to relationships. As Venus retrogrades back into your second house of finances, its focus shifts to your relationship with money, values, and resources. You may find yourself rethinking financial priorities, reevaluating spending habits, or revisiting past financial decisions. For some, this could be a period of financial realignment, especially for those with night charts, where Venus's influence tends to be more benefic and supportive. Venus's eventual direct motion in Pisces suggests a resolution or improvement in financial matters. As spring turns to summer, eclipses new financial beginnings and endings. The themes of finances and resources will gain even more significance as the eclipses shift into the 2nd and 8th house axis, starting in 2025. These eclipses mark a period of profound transformation, major beginnings and endings that reshape your financial landscape. This cycle began back in September of 2024, when the first eclipse occurred in Pisces, activating your 2nd house of finances. Since then, you may have experienced a push to get serious about your financial goals or faced challenges that required you to take a closer look at your resources. Saturn's presence in this area of your chart since March 2023 has likely brought some slowdowns or tests, forcing you to develop discipline, structure, and long-term financial plans. While Saturn transiting the 2nd house can sometimes feel like a weight, it's also a teacher, pushing you toward greater financial maturity and stability. The good news is that as Saturn moves out of Pisces and into Aries, its heavy influence on your financial sector will begin to lift. This will bring a sense of relief and the opportunity to move forward with greater clarity and confidence. However, the eclipses will ensure that financial transformation continues, offering you a clean slate to start fresh and realign your financial goals in ways that feel more sustainable and aligned with your values. For some, these eclipses may bring major financial opportunities, perhaps a new job, investment, or source of income that emerges as a result of the hard work you've put in. For others, it could involve letting go of financial burdens or outdated habits that no longer serve you. Trust the process. Eclipses may feel destabilizing at first, but they ultimately clear the path for new growth. Tying it all together, 2025 is shaping up to be a transformative year where communication, relationships, and finances intersect in powerful ways. With Saturn and Neptune challenging you to refine how you think, speak, and connect, you're being called to find balance between realism and idealism. Venus retrograde will offer healing and reconciliation in relationships while prompting financial reassessments. Finally, the eclipses will bring new opportunities for growth in your financial life, marking a turning point in how you value and manage your resources. Through all these changes, remain grounded yet open. Trust that the lessons of this year will guide you toward greater clarity, connection, and stability in the years to come. The eclipses in your 2nd and 8th houses in 2025 mark a significant turning point. When it comes to your finances, resources, and shared wealth, this is a period of profound beginnings and endings. One where you're being called to take your financial life more seriously and explore new ways of managing, earning, and investing. The 2nd house eclipses highlight your personal resources, your income, possessions, and sense of self-worth tied to material stability. You might start a new financial venture, discover ways to build a stronger foundation, or finally tackle lingering money-related concerns that have been holding you back. This is a time to explore fresh ideas, perhaps setting up a budget, investing for the future, or even launching something entrepreneurial that provides greater financial independence. What's particularly interesting is how these eclipses are intertwined with the 8th house, which represents shared resources, debts, taxes, and inheritances. The 8th house reminds us that our financial lives are not entirely isolated, but deeply connected to others, be it romantic partners, business collaborators, or institutions. You might find yourself dealing with issues like loans, credit, joint investments, or perhaps navigating changes in your partner's finances that directly or indirectly impact your own. For instance, your partner might experience a windfall, a change in income, or even financial challenges that require you to step in and offer support. Alternatively, you could receive an inheritance, explore new investment strategies, or gain insights into how to manage shared resources more effectively. These eclipses urge you to examine the ways financial interdependence works in your life and to bring greater intention and stability to those connections. Pay special attention to what begins unfolding around the spring of 2025 with the first Virgo eclipse. It's a preview of the larger story that will intensify in September when we see a full set of eclipses in your financial axis. By then, the universe will be pushing you to embrace new ways of navigating the flow of resources in your life, perhaps letting go of outdated patterns or discovering innovative ways to create abundance. Uranus in the fifth house. A new era of freedom and change. As if the eclipses weren't transformative enough, Uranus will make a bold shift into your fifth house of creativity, children, romance, and pleasure in July 2025, marking the beginning of a 7-year cycle of radical change. Since 2018, Uranus has been shaking up your fourth house of home and family, which may have brought unexpected shifts in your living situation or relationships with your parents. Now, the focus moves to a completely different area of life, one that has to do with joy, spontaneity, and self-expression. The fifth house governs not only children, but also creativity, hobbies, love affairs, and the experiences that bring you a sense of play and excitement. Uranus, as the planet of sudden breakthroughs and liberation, comes in like a gust of fresh air to awaken these parts of your life. This could manifest in a variety of ways. For those of you with children, Uranus might signify a time when they begin asserting their independence more strongly. They could be going through rapid, unpredictable changes, seeking freedom, embracing individuality, or adopting new paths that surprise you. While it may feel erratic at times, trust that this is part of their evolution. Uranus brings change for the better, even if it feels unsettling in the moment. For others, this transit could bring unexpected developments with children, whether that's the sudden realization that you're ready to start a family, or news that comes as a surprise. If having children has been on your mind, this transit often correlates with a shake-up in that area, sometimes leading to unexpected but joyful beginnings. Beyond family, Uranus in the fifth house also awakens your desire for personal freedom and creative expression. You may feel drawn to hobbies, art, or leisure activities that feel completely new or unconventional. If you've been holding yourself back creatively, Uranus will encourage you to take risks and explore ideas that excite you. For some, this transit might inspire you to dive into projects or relationships that bring a spark of excitement and spontaneity back into your life. Romantically, Uranus can make things feel unpredictable. If you're single, this is a time when love might come out of nowhere, relationships that begin suddenly and feel electric. For those in committed partnerships, you may crave more spontaneity and freedom in your romantic life, which could lead to shifts in how you connect with your partner. What this means for you. The overarching theme of 2025 is one of transformation, liberation, and reconnection. The eclipses will push you to reimagine your relationship with money, both personal and shared, and take bold steps toward greater financial security. Uranus's entrance into your fifth house, meanwhile, will shake up the ways you express yourself, experience joy, and embrace freedom in your relationships and creative pursuits. This is a year to trust the changes that come your way, even when they feel sudden or unpredictable. Whether it's reworking financial foundations, exploring new creative ventures, or reconnecting with what truly brings you joy, the universe is guiding you toward growth and liberation. Pay attention to the shifts in the summer, as they'll offer you a preview of the exciting possibilities that lie ahead. Embrace the unexpected. Let go of what no longer serves you, and don't forget to allow yourself to enjoy the ride. Because the fifth house, above all, reminds us that life is meant to be lived with heart, passion, and a sense of play. As Uranus enters your fifth house in the second half of 2025, It brings a wave of change, freedom, and innovation to areas of your life that bring joy, creativity, and self-expression. The fifth house governs romance, sexuality, hobbies, children, and fun. And Uranus's arrival here could inspire you to break free from limitations or restrictions that have held you back. In the realm of romance and sexuality, this transit might shift your outlook, helping you approach this part of your life with a sense of openness and experimentation. If you felt stuck in old patterns, Uranus invites you to embrace authenticity and explore new ways of connecting with yourself and others. It's a call to let go of what feels stifling and rediscover excitement and liberation in this deeply personal area. Creatively, Uranus in the fifth house can spark bursts of inspiration and encourage you to take risks with your art, self-expression, or even your hobbies. While hobbies may sound trivial, they are often the anchor that brings joy and meaning to life, especially during times of transition or challenge. You may stumble upon a new passion or activity that feels revolutionary, something that makes you feel alive in ways you haven't in years. Whether it's learning a new skill, engaging in a creative project, or even finding joy in something unexpected, this shift could have a profound, transformative effect on your well-being. For those with children, this transit might also signal rapid changes in their lives. They could assert their independence more strongly, pursue new paths, or surprise you with their evolving personalities. While this could feel unpredictable, Uranus ultimately brings growth and liberation, both for you and your children. This initial preview in July 2025 offers a glimpse of what's to come over the next 7 years as Uranus continues its journey through your fifth house. Keep an eye out for shifts. During this period, these are seeds of change that will grow into larger transformations in the years ahead. Stay connected to Buddhism Trail. If you found this forecast insightful, be sure to stay connected to Buddhism Trail for future updates and astrology content. As we navigate these transits together, you'll gain tools and insights to align with the cosmic energies and make the most of the opportunities ahead. For those looking for deeper astrological guidance, I encourage you to explore more of what Buddhism Trail offers, whether it's forecasts, tips for aligning with planetary transits, or reflections on how astrology can guide your personal growth. Let's continue this journey together. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, and don't forget to follow along for future insights into how the planets are shaping your path. Here's to a year of transformation, joy, and freedom in 2025. May it bring you closer to your most authentic self.